Yeah. What's up? Biggie Astrology, Eric Taylor. I'm back. Continuing my Chiron through the Houses series. This, today, is Chiron in the second house. Dos. 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 Uno, dos. Yeah, so Chiron, the wounded healer. We're going to break down Chiron and then break down the second house and then merge it together so you understand how this plays out in your natal birth chart. You understand? It's a Biggie Astrology, a Western tropical astrologer who uses the whole sign system, more ancient and more accurate, with principles of evolutionary astrology and the Vedic. Yeah, man. So, I'm not going to get through the whole story of Centaur. I did that in Chiron in the first house, basically. But it is an asteroid. It deals with wounds. And there's really two wounds, okay? And the first Chiron wound, and it is, half man, half horse. He was a centaur who was a great healer, rejected from his mother. He, was raised by Apollo and then learned how to be this great healer, then got wounded, and because he was immortal, could not heal himself, but was a great healer of others. And then, made a deal to be thrown up in the constellation of Sagittarius, and he's halfway between Uranus and Saturn. Kind of like the Cliff Notes version of it, okay? But it is known as the energy antenna. And the Chiron wound is an emotional wound, a physical wound, or a spiritual wound, and can be multiples of those, okay? And so the first wounding is usually dealing with you and your mother, that sensitivity and that sense of rejection. And so this is either in the womb or, about a year, maybe up to 18 months afterwards. The second wounding you'll see in the natal birth chart. The sign house and the degree point will indicate the age. So let's say if it's Chiron at 5 degrees, the wound could have happened at 5 years old, right? If you're young and you don't remember, then you have to ask, based on the degree, sign, and house, ask your mother or father, oh, well, what happened when I was 2? What happened when I was 3? And it goes from 0 to 29 degrees. So sometimes people are very aware of their wound if it's 23 degrees. But sometimes that 23 or 25 degrees could happen at 25 years old, or 25 could wind up being 7 years old. And I have seen in people's charts, and if that's you, you can comment down below, where it's both. There's a wound at, let's say, 7 and a wound at 25. So that can play out, all right? This is a deep energy, right? Now, currently in 2023 in transit, Chiron is in Aries, right? I'm going through my Chiron return. So Chiron in the second house, and this is not Chiron in Taurus, although it can be similar, not the same. But Chiron in the second house, you are dealing with a wound. And let me just say, breaking down the second house, right? So the first house is the I am energy, the ascendant, the baby. The second house is like the toddler years. But this is dealing with your 5 senses, right? Your food, you start to eat when you're a baby. Survival, right? The 5 senses, your family, the people that are around you when you're little that you rely and depend on, family savings, assets. It's actual speech, right? Goo goo gaga, mama, dada, papa, right? These are all second house themes. It's your values, your self-worth, material items, things you may collect, and how you actually earn money. So here, your sensitivities and some of your wounding, physical, spiritual, emotional, can very well deal with a multitude of things. But it can deal with the value system and how you were raised. It can come around dealing with your family, attacking your self-worth, right? Maybe even having issues around eating, food, and speech. There can be situations where you feel overly sensitive because others are judging or criticizing how you speak. Or if you're in a foreign country, even the language that you speak. right? You're coming to America and you're from, you know, I don't know, China or from, Bulgaria or from Colombia, and you can't speak a lick of English, but you're going to school and the kids are teasing you. This can be where the Chiron wound is. It may be for your food. This can definitely happen. But what happens is, just so you know, this is where you may be questioned about your values or even the work that you do to earn money or your family, how poor you are or how wealthy you are, the type of home or apartment or whatever you live in, right? All the kids bring in lunches and you just bring in a thing of Doritos and a Pepsi, and everybody's like, what's wrong with you? Don't you have a sandwich or real food? Right? So, this Chiron wound in the second house can be very multi layered. Usually, it's going to be around those early childhood years that can be influenced from the mother and father and family. And, you'll see Chiron could be conjunct Saturn or Neptune, or, if it's conjunct Neptune and Mercury, maybe there is a speech impediment, a stuttering, or being speech delayed. You need to go to a speech pathologist. But what happens with the Chiron wound, you the way to heal this inner child wounding, right? And I have my Chiron service where I do a mini audio reading, breaking down your Chiron by sign, house, and degree, and basically giving you the tools in an audio chart reading how to help you heal this wound. It's only $53. I'm very proud of this service because you want to heal your inner child to kind of optimize the birth chart and yourself and really get into those subconscious and unconscious woundings that sometimes we're not even aware of. And so you could be very sensitive and extra defensive. Someone's like, well, why do you work there? And you're like, oh, because I want to. Why? What, you want to fight? Like, you know what I mean? You could be very defensive and you're, chip on your shoulder around your Chiron wound, right? You may be the person that you're always chewing with your mouth open. I had a friend like that once. It was crazy. But you know what I mean? Like there may be a sensitivity around that you were teased or bullied, in like first grade for that. And then you're now 30, 40, 50, 60 years old and you still do it. And people either make fun of you or ostracize you for this behavior. When you have the Chiron wound, whatever it's around, it can even be about your actual money. You know, you always hang out with people, but you never got dough. You're always broke. This wounding can be very personal in the second house, and you can be extremely sensitive about it. And so, one thing you can do by helping others, you also wind up in turn helping yourself. Okay, this is a wounding that can be something that is out of your control because it could be, your early toddler years, something that happened that influenced you, something to do with the father and the mother and your savings and assets and values, or just money itself. Okay, so understand that the sign here, right? Let's just say if it was Gemini, it could very well be a speech delay or the way you communicate. You know, if you had, Leo or some sign here, it could be, you know, about how you express yourself or your family, something about your father and maybe not having a parent, maybe being adopted and teased and made fun of, not having clothing, or just having to go to your neighbor's house to get food, or using food stamps and you were embarrassed as a child. So you can see a lot of different things here, and the sign will help indicate the story, the degree point, the age, 14 degrees. Maybe something happened at 14 years old or 5 years old. But you share with me, comment down below, tell me your Chiron sign and the degree point, and if you have any major aspects to it, something in a conjunction between 0 and 10 degrees, the 0 10 degree orb, right? The second house, something that's trining it in the 6th or 10th that helps you to work through this wounding. Or it could be something squaring it in the 5th, okay? Or in the 11th house. So working and understanding Chiron, the wounded healer, is very important. You're going to have these sensitivities. It is the energy antenna. But I think being self-aware and being able to potentially help others, whether it's people in your own family or when you have children, making sure that they learn their ABCs and that they have good nutrition, that you have savings, they have money and clothes, that they don't have to worry about their survival, their material items. This is, many things that can help with these sensitivities. And don't question yourself. You're going to be sensitive, but people will have different values, and they may challenge yours, but that doesn't mean that your values are wrong. They may question you about, things that are attacking your self-love. You have to kind of embrace it, but know that you're not doing anything wrong. Okay? Yeah, I got good self-worth. I love myself. So what? My shirt's dirty. Or I got a stain on my shirt. Who cares? You know what I mean? Because this is also the essence of like food, clothing, shelter in the second house. It is survival, your 5 senses. So, what if someone can't see or can't hear? Or they don't have a sense of taste? This can create, wounding that, really, based on that sign and degree point, tell the story of your Chiron moon. Okay? But I'm honored to help you, because to me, at Biggie Astrology, we're all about understanding the birth chart, which is the map of your life, right? And how to move through the 12-house zodiac wheel to 360 degrees to live out the best version of your life. Astrology is here to help you. Unlocking this ancient wisdom is my calling and service to help you. So fret not about your Chiron wound in the second house, all right? Everything's gonna be easy, star. And this is a way that sometimes you can help generations in your own family while you heal yourself, which is really important, okay? And don't question your self-worth and your values. You dance your dance and know that you are worthy, all right, and that you are loved. And some of that can be that you were, there was a verbal abuse or people always putting you down, cursing at you. It is speech. So in turn, then you don't go ahead and do that to your niece, nephew, or children. Uplift, positive talk, positive self-talk. Because we are dealing also with speech and self-worth. All right? So, holla at your boy. Email me to book a birth chart reading, a Chiron reading, whatever you want, at bigeastrology@gmail.com. And yeah, I'm filming this at the end of October 2023. And so bigeastrology.com should be up and live. It's coming soon. So it's only days away. Early November, it'll be here. So yeah, come to the website, but email me at gmail.com, bigeastrology@gmail.com, if you want to book a Chiron reading or any of my services. And Don't be so hard on yourself. I know that these emotional, physical, spiritual wounds, that can be sometimes about you not activating your voice and speaking up. Right? The second house deals with the throat chakra. Deals with your lower jaw, so those bottom teeth too. All right? So, it's not easy, but this is part of the journey of healing yourself. And astrology is a great tool to do that, just like numerology and human design as well. All right? But email me today and we can really get in deep and understand your Chiron wound, Chiron the wounded healer, the energy antenna in your second house in your natal birth chart. All right? Eric Taylor, Biggie Astrology, and this is Chiron in the second house in your natal birth chart. Peace. Bye, Chiron. Adios. Later.